Hey, English learners! Welcome back to Talk English with Emma, your friendly place to improve your English through simple, real-life conversations. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. We are so happy you are here with us today. No matter where you are in the world, no matter what your English level is right now, this episode was made for you. So get comfortable, relax, and let's learn together.
On this channel, we make English learning easy, practical, and enjoyable. We focus on everyday speaking, useful expressions, and conversations that help you sound more natural and confident. If you enjoy learning with us, please like this episode, subscribe to Talk English with Emma, and share it with a friend who is also learning. Your support means so much, and it helps us reach more learners every single day.
Okay, Emma, I have to tell you something honestly.
Go ahead.
I have barely been able to sleep this week.
Really? Why?
Because the FIFA World Cup 2026 has started, and I cannot stop watching matches. I am staying up far too late. I am waking up early to catch games I missed. My whole routine has fallen apart, and I am absolutely okay with it.
Honestly, same. I watched the opening match and I was supposed to go to sleep after the first half. I did not go to sleep after the first half.
Nobody goes to sleep at halftime during the World Cup.
Nobody. And the thing is, the World Cup is everywhere right now. People at work are talking about it, friends are sending messages about it, strangers on the bus are talking about it. And if you are learning English, this is one of the most incredible opportunities you will ever get to practice. Because football is a language that the whole world speaks. And right now, the whole world is speaking it in English too.
And that is exactly what today's episode is about. Today, we're going to help you talk about the FIFA World Cup 2026 in English. Not just the facts and the scores, but how to have a real, natural, exciting conversation about football with anyone. A friend, a colleague, a stranger at a cafe who is watching the same match as you.
We have 3 ideas for you today. 3 ways of talking about the World Cup that will make you sound natural, confident, and genuinely interesting to talk to. And the 3rd idea, Alex, I want to mention it now. The 3rd one is the one that surprised even me when I thought about it.
It is unexpected in a really good way. So please stay with us all the way to the end. But let's start from the beginning. Idea number 1. Stop just reporting scores and results. Start talking about moments and feelings. Because here is the truth. Most people, when they talk about a football match, sound like a news headline. The score was this. This player scored. This team won. That is reporting. And reporting is fine for a newspaper, but it is the death of a real conversation.
Think about the last time you watched a match and something happened. A last-minute goal, a save that seemed impossible, a red card that changed everything, and your whole body reacted. Maybe you stood up, maybe you gasped, maybe you covered your face with your hands and then jumped up and shouted. That reaction, that feeling, that is the interesting part. And that is what people actually want to hear about.
The World Cup 2026 has already given us so many of those moments. This is the first World Cup ever with 48 teams, 16 more than in Qatar 2022. It's being hosted across 3 countries, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, for the very first time in history. There are 104 matches total. The final will be played on July 19th at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and the opening match, Mexico versus South Africa at the legendary Estadio Azteca in Mexico City on June 11th, that was a moment. The oldest World Cup stadium in the world, packed with 80,000 fans in green. The noise absolutely overwhelming.
And instead of saying Mexico played South Africa in the opening match, you could say, did you see the opening match? The Azteca was completely sold out. The energy was extraordinary. When Mexico scored, the whole stadium shook. I was watching from my sofa and I still felt it.
Same facts, but one feels like a report and the other feels like a memory. One closes the conversation and the other opens it.
And you do not need advanced English to do this. You just need to think about what you actually felt when you were watching. Were you nervous? Were you on the edge of your seat? Did your heart sink when a goal was disallowed? Did you feel that wild rush when the net rippled in the last minute? Those feelings are your story, and your story is so much more interesting than any scoreline.
I want to tell you something personal. I grew up watching the World Cup with my whole family. Every 4 years, the house would change. My parents would rearrange the living room. My father would make the same special food every time. I think it was his way of making the occasion feel sacred. And we would all sit there together, 3 generations, shouting at the same screen, laughing and arguing and hugging each other after goals.
Alex, that is so beautiful.
And when I talk about the World Cup now, I do not just talk about football. I talk about those evenings, the smell of my father's cooking, the way my grandmother would pretend not to care about football, but then scream the loudest when something happened. The World Cup is not just a tournament for me. It is a feeling. It is a time of year when the world feels smaller and more connected somehow.
And that is exactly the energy we want you to bring to your English conversations about football. Not just the data, the feeling behind the data, because feeling is where real conversation lives.
So, remember idea number 1. Do not just report the score. Share the moment. Share the feeling. Tell people what you actually experienced when you were watching. That's the conversation everyone wants to have.
Okay, idea number 2, and this one is about vocabulary, but not in the way you might expect, because most English learners think vocabulary means memorizing long lists of words. And yes, there are some really useful football words we are going to look at today, but the most important vocabulary lesson in this episode is about how to express opinions and reactions naturally, because in a World Cup conversation, you're going to have opinions, strong ones, and knowing how to share them in English, confidently and naturally, is one of the most powerful skills you can build.
Let's start with the basic facts about this tournament, because understanding what is happening helps you join the conversation. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is the largest in history. 48 teams are competing, which means teams from more countries than ever before have a chance to be on the world's biggest stage. The tournament runs from June 11th to July 19th, 2026. There are 12 groups of 4 teams each. The top 2 from each group advance, plus the 8 best third-place teams, so 32 teams go through to the knockout round.
And the favorites to win the whole tournament? Spain are the slight favorites going into the competition. They are the reigning European champions, and they have been playing some beautiful football. France are right there with them, still powered by Kylian Mbappe, who has been extraordinary since the 2018 World Cup. England are in the conversation too. They have reached the final at the last 2 European championships, and a whole nation is desperate for them to finally go all the way. And then there is Argentina, the defending champions, led by Lionel Messi, trying to do something only Brazil has ever done, win back-to-back World Cups. And of course, Brazil themselves, now under Carlo Ancelotti, with Vinicius Jr. absolutely on fire.
Now, here is something interesting about having these conversations in English. It is not just about knowing who the favorites are. It's about knowing how to express your own opinion about them. And English has some wonderful phrases for this.
For example, if you think a team is going to win, you can say, "I have a feeling Argentina are going all the way this time." Or, "Honestly, I think Spain are the ones to watch. They look unstoppable." Or, "Call me crazy, but I think England might finally do it this year." That phrase, "call me crazy, but," is such a natural English expression for when you're sharing an opinion that might be a little surprising or bold.
And if you want to express doubt or uncertainty, you can say, "I'm not so sure about France." They have the players, but do they have the team? That phrase, they have the players, but do they have the team, is a beautiful piece of football English. It means individually the players are talented, but maybe they don't work together as a unit.
Or you might say, Brazil always break my heart. Every tournament I believe in them, and every tournament something goes wrong at the worst possible moment. That's such a human, relatable thing to say, and every football fan in the world knows exactly what you mean.
And for talking about a player you love or admire, you can say, watching Mbappe play is something else. When he has the ball and runs at defenders, I cannot take my eyes off him. Or Messi, at 38 years old, is still doing things that make no sense. It's almost unfair.
These are all natural, conversational English phrases that real football fans use, not textbook English. Real English, the kind of English that makes people turn to you and say, yes, exactly.
So, idea number 2 is this. Learn the football vocabulary, yes, but more importantly, learn how to express your feelings and opinions about what you're watching, because that's where conversations come alive.
Okay, now the third idea, the one I mentioned at the beginning, and I want to set it up properly because it surprised me when I realized it.
I'm listening.
Most people think that to have a good English conversation about football, you need to know a lot about football. You need to know the scores, the players, the tactics, the history, and yes, that helps. But here is what I have realized. The best football conversations are not really about football. They're about people. They're about belonging. They're about where you come from and what you love and what keeps you up at night watching a match in a time zone that makes no sense.
Say more about that.
Think about what the World Cup actually is. It is the one time every 4 years when a person from Pakistan and a person from Peru and a person from Poland can sit in the same room watching the same game, feeling the exact same emotions at the exact same moment. It is one of the only things on earth that does that. And when you have a World Cup conversation in English with someone from a completely different country, you're not just talking about football. You're saying, we are part of the same thing. We feel the same things. We are connected.
I felt that so strongly this week. I was in a cafe watching a match, and the person next to me, I had never seen them before in my life, suddenly turned to me when a goal went in, and we just looked at each other, and I don't even remember what they said or what I said, but for a moment we were completely in the same feeling together, and that happened because of football.
And for English learners, this is the most beautiful gift the World Cup gives you, because suddenly you have a reason to talk to people you might never have talked to. You have something real and exciting and shared to talk about. And the English you use in those conversations will stick with you in a way that no textbook exercise ever will.
So, idea number 3 is this. When you talk about the World Cup in English, don't just talk about the football. Talk about what the World Cup means to you. Which team do you support and why? Is it your home country? Is it a team you have loved since you were a child? Is there a player you have followed for years who finally has their chance? Do you watch with family or friends or alone? What does it feel like in your home city during a World Cup? These personal answers are the most interesting thing about any World Cup conversation.
And they require no advanced English. You just need to be honest. I support this team because my father supported them and his father before him. I have been watching Messi since I was 12 years old, and I feel like I have grown up alongside him. Every time the World Cup comes around, I get this feeling that is hard to explain, like the world pauses and everything that usually matters suddenly matters a little less, and football matters a little more.
Simple words, real feelings. That is always the formula.
Okay, let's take a gentle pause now and do our word tour. Just a few football words and phrases explained slowly and clearly so they stay with you.
First word, fixture. A fixture is a scheduled match. The full list of matches in a tournament is called the fixtures list, or the fixtures. For example, did you check the fixtures for this week? There are some incredible matches coming up. Or, I am clearing my schedule around the fixtures because I cannot miss a single game. Say it. Fixture. Fixture. A very natural football word.
Next word, underdog. An underdog is a team or player that most people do not expect to win. They are the less favored side. They are the surprise. And in football, everyone loves an underdog story. For example, Morocco were the underdogs at the last World Cup, and they reached the semi-finals. No one saw that coming. Or, I always find myself supporting the underdog. There is something so human about cheering for the team that was not supposed to win. Say it. Underdog. Underdog.
Next phrase, on paper. This phrase means in theory, looking at the facts and the statistics, without accounting for what actually happens in a real match. For example, on paper, Spain should win their group easily, but football is not played on paper. Or, on paper, Argentina are favorites, but defending a World Cup title is one of the hardest things in sport. Say it. On paper. On paper. You will hear this phrase constantly in football conversations.
Next word, clinical. When we say a team or player is clinical, we mean they are very precise and efficient in front of goal. They do not waste chances. When they get an opportunity to score, they take it. For example, France are so clinical. Mbappe gets one chance and puts it away every time. Or, England struggle to be clinical. They create chances, but they miss too many. Say it. Clinical. Clinical. A very satisfying football word.
Next phrase, set piece. A set piece is a planned move that happens when play is stopped. A corner kick, a free kick, a throw-in near the goal. Teams practice set pieces carefully because they are moments where a goal can come from nothing. For example, Germany are so dangerous from set pieces. Every corner kick feels like a threat. Or they scored 3 goals from set pieces in one match. Say it. Set piece. Set piece. You will hear this phrase constantly in football conversations.
And our last word today, atmosphere. Atmosphere means the feeling and energy in a stadium or in a place where people are watching football. A great atmosphere means the crowd is loud, passionate, electric. For example, the atmosphere at the Azteca for the opening match was absolutely incredible. Or, I watched the game at a sports bar, and the atmosphere was just like being in the stadium. Say it. Atmosphere. Atmosphere. That word even feels electric.
6 words today. Fixture, underdog, on paper, clinical, set piece, and atmosphere. These are the words that will make you sound like a real football fan when you talk about the World Cup. Try to use one of them in a conversation this week, even just once, even just to yourself while you are watching a match.
Because a word you use is a word you keep, and a word you keep becomes part of how you see the game.
And how you see the game becomes part of how you talk about it. And how you talk about it is your English becoming richer and more alive with every conversation.
Now it is your turn, and this is the part we love most.
Yes, because this is where the conversation becomes yours.
Here's your challenge. Think about the World Cup 2026, or about football in general, if you prefer, and answer one of these questions in the comments. Which team are you supporting, and why does it matter to you? Or, what is one World Cup memory from this tournament, or a past one, that you still think about? Or, is there a player in this tournament whose story moves you, whose journey you have followed, whose goal made you feel something real?
Write your answer in the comments. It does not have to be long. 1 sentence is enough. 3 sentences is a full conversation. Just make it honest. Make it yours.
And please use one of today's words if you can. Maybe you say, "My team are the underdogs, but I believe in them." Or, "On paper, we should not even be at this World Cup, but here we are." Or, "The atmosphere in my city when our team plays is something I cannot describe, but I will never forget."
When you write your comment, you're not just practicing English, you're sharing a piece of your world, your country, your memories, your love for this beautiful game. And that piece of your world is interesting and valuable and worth putting into words.
And your comment might be exactly what another learner needed today. Someone who thought their English was not good enough to talk about something this big and this exciting. And then they read your sentence and they think, if they can do it, I can do it too.
1 honest sentence gives permission to 100 quiet hearts.
Before we finish, we want to say something to you. If you have been listening all the way to this moment, thank you. The World Cup only comes every 4 years, and the fact that you are here using this tournament to practice and grow your English is something to feel genuinely proud of.
Football is a universal language, and English is the language the world uses to talk about it. So every conversation you have about this World Cup with a friend, a stranger, a colleague, even just in your head while you're watching, is English practice. Real, living, meaningful English practice.
So watch the matches, feel the feelings, and then put those feelings into words in English. That is the assignment. That is the practice. That is the gift this World Cup is giving you right now.
If this episode helped you, please give it a like, subscribe to Talk English with Emma, and share it with a friend who loves football and loves learning English. Your support helps us reach more learners, and every new listener is one more person who feels a little more confident in their English.
Until next time, take care of your English and enjoy every single match. This was Talk English with Emma. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. We will see you in the next episode. Come on, let's go!